Hey guys, it's Mario here with Interstellar Gaming. Today I'm going to go over the Tenpai Dragon decklist I used to win the box tournament this weekend. Still early on, but having a lot of fun with it, and we're just going to get right into it. So, first thing we have are 3 red, 3 white, 2 green dragons. Red is probably the most important one. It's a starter, it can get you into your whole TK combo. This one's going to be a Stratos for field spell or the quick play. And then you only need 2 green because where it's a great extender, it can be a brick because it doesn't start by itself for these two do. Then we have the Honorary Dragon, which is Magnemut. I use this because this is going to be a shifter-based version of the deck, so we'll get into that later. But this will add your red dragon or your white dragon, and then in the sideboard, there's some other sauce that we'll get into. Moving on next, spells, we have 4 field spell, 3 quick play, and 3 prosperity, which will represent our engine. So field spell is going to be the starter to get into your combo. It gets into the dragon, so you can start. Also helps with the LTK line where you double the attack. This is also what allows you to be broken in the main phase and make everything unaffected. That's the fire dragon. Quick play is going to be your searcher. Also in battle phase, it has the option to grab a dragon and special summon it. You get both effects if it's used in the main phase, so it can create some broken OTK lines with this guy. And then prosperity. Card's broken. Because you can deal above 30k damage, this deck allows you, for you those that you don't know, to OTK with prosperity. But it's just needed right now for the consistency because there are not that many starters in the deck. Now, moving on to the non-engine, which is one of the more viable parts, because that is going to be 21 cards. As stated earlier, we're playing 3 shifter. I use the logic, and it's still early on, so I haven't refined it all the way yet. But the logic I built my non-engine with was along the lines of the same I used for my 250th cash deck that I topped with. But 3 shifter, 3 ash, 3 imperm, 3 chills, 3 Nibiru. So the reason I said logic is the one thing my hand traps have in common is they all work underneath shifter. So even though Veiler and Ghost Hug right now, in my opinion, are crazy, I decided not to go with those in the moment because they conflict with shifter. But this worked out pretty well. I tried a board breaker approach the night prior at locals, and where it was like, all right, the hand traps personally just seemed like a little cleaner. But moving on from those, continue non-engine, again 21, 3 chalice, cards crazy. Then 2 cyclones and the called by. This is a 41 card list because the 41st card was a called by. I felt need viable, and I wanted to play everything else that you see in the deck. So I'm sure I could probably cut somewhere, but it worked out well enough. That's a non-engine. Extra deck is going to be, start with synchros. We have 2 common 7s and then the super level 10 correct ratios. It never popped up where I needed any more of this. This card's broken. This one in the battle phase is the one that allows you to bring a level 3 back from the graveyard, so you get more damage along with comboing for your Trident Dragon combos. This guy, super broken. He turns off hand traps in the battle phase. So a lot of times, more than not, if you see, especially if you're playing against this deck, if they resolve this card, there's a high likelihood the game's over with. This one shuts you off from using any monster effects in the graveyard. And like this one, they both have the ability, if you attacked 3 times or more in the battle phase, to bring themselves back, so it connects to more damage. Then the broken card, Trident Dragon. Hopefully Konami does right like they said and gives a reprint, because in my opinion, there's no reason this card should be $115. But you have to play it as one of. It opens your OTK lines. It's the most direct way to play underneath the shifter combo. So without a combo tutorial very quickly, if you have the red dragon, it actually gets you into full combo with being able to try to drag you on in battle phase under shifter and kill your opponent for 18,000. Next, we have a Meteor Burst, Moonlit, Black Rose. I made these cards a couple times. They're good, especially like this actually. Black Rose, because it's a fire dragon, works with your field spell. So if you're in a situation where they've built the board and you know, not necessarily in a tight spot, but you want to just play through it, you can make Black Rose and it's unaffected. So you can guarantee blow up their board and then OTK them with things like the quick play and continue on playing. So those 3 will be the last synchros. Next, we do play a link package to play around Dimensional Barrier. So if they think they're safe, we play Zealantis combo. This card, this package rather, I see the viability. I'll be honest, it never popped up. Um, I've only had D-Barrier resolve twice against me, and those times it didn't really matter. It's kind of challenging to get to this, so where I see the viability with it, I don't know if I might try something else, but again, um, still early on. Continue testing. We'll figure out what works best. Then the last two links we play are Seals and Striker Dragon. The Striker Dragon is predominantly so you can do this. Like, example, going second, you can get a SP play and get the value out of it. But Seals, pass in 2024 is still a thing. The one thing I like about this version versus the board breaker version is because we play like more of the hand traps, if they're in a position where they debarrier us, and let's say, for example, we put them under shifter, we can still seal pass with an average of like 2 to 3 non-engine in our hand, and sometimes that's just enough to get you there. So this card's nuts. Can also set up battle phase plays where you like black rose in the battle phase, so it's kind of adorable there. But that completes the extra deck. Next, we're going to move into side. I will say this with the sideboard. I just put in cards off the top right now that I thought were good. I wanted to play. This still needs refine, but there weren't really any bad cards in the deck, but you'll see why here in a second why I said we just picked cards. We have two go first cards, predominantly a cross out target. We have the D-Beer and then Necro Valley. So if our opponent makes us go first, we just put those two cards in generically, depending on the matchup, or going second, we do this package. So that way it's some counter defense to Dimensional Barrier. Then we had two Bells, cards crazy. Two Druid Swarm, cards also crazy. Three Ghost Ogres, cards actually nuts. Obviously, to my point of like being conflicting with Shifter, normally when I tried siding this in, I sided Shifter out and just played like 15 hand traps. Doing that actually though, it opens up more OTK lines with the deck, so it actually wasn't a bad thing. But still early testing, but the card's crazy. I wanted to play it. And then we have three Phantasme. So on paper, this card's nuts. With the Enemy Dragon, obviously I can search with Malamut and it has some synergy with the deck. But IMO, it's kind of mid, you know. Maybe I need to test with a little bit more. But in theory, you know, it would have been good being able to get my other non-engine. But it's still early. Other than that, that completes the list. Shout outs will go obviously to the homies, so y'all know who you are. Otherwise, we're going to be all night. And then shout out to Interstellar Gaming. Mario out.